get up and go walk outside. It's like I'm banging that drum slowly all night long. I'm just trying to get it together.
So what are you going hands on over there?
No, sir. No, can't do that. Can't do that. It makes it worse. I got 2 girls. So I can't. You can't do that. Can't do that. I just have to sit here and knock myself out. Just try to hope I can hit myself hard enough to knock me out until this is over, because it is difficult. It is difficult to work through that stuff. But her mom helps out, so I guess, and her sister helps too. Her sister's like, it's not as far. It's an 8-year gap, but some of that stuff looks familiar to her. She can recall over 8 years, but I can't recall over 48 years. So it's a little difficult. That recall is nowhere near total, son. I want you to know this. This is true. The struggle is real, and I'm hurting bad. But she's. I gotta say, a switch might go off though on her, because that's what happened with the other one when she went to the 6th grade. It was like a switch flipped for her, and what was really difficult, or which all of a sudden she started taking control of her own learning, and when she didn't know something, she went and sought, the teacher's help and what she could do, and worked on it herself. And I'm waiting for that switch to go off in this younger one, because it hadn't gone off yet. She is still trying to figure out how we can do this without paying that much attention to it. But she's doing her thing. They're gonna get through it. In all seriousness, this is a difficult, strange, unprecedented time, and an unprecedented situation that we're having to deal with. So, what the good that will come out of this that we will know that we'll be able to work through something like this. But it's going to be some growing pains in the meantime. But, Ms. Banks seems to be handling it well. She's like, I got this. This is what we got to do. We just got to get these kids through this stuff.
We do.
Chief, we should have teachers like that. Yeah. She's not the least bit bothered. She's just, I got it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry y'all can't see her, because she's so relaxed and laid back. She's just like, my teachers, they were off the chain. They were like, God, here they come again. All these bad children, they coming in here one by one, and they lived in the neighborhood where we were. They all lived around the corner or something.
That's right.
Chief, your parents, they were all in the school. So you couldn't do nothing wrong.
Nope. But I did learn to cuss from my 6th grade teacher.
Yeah, they will teach you. They will teach you how to do that. That's a good one, Daddy. How many letters was that?
That's right.
That was everyone in the alphabet.
Have you gotten that parent that's called in that's just freaking out saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't get the computer to turn on. I can't figure these lessons out. My kid's telling me one thing. I don't know whether that's true or not. Do you get those kind of calls?
We do. And that's when we walk them through how to get to the Google Classroom so they can see the assignments that the teachers have, assigned to the students. Mm-hmm. But everything is pretty much up to the student to go to their email and check.
Sure.
Like I had to instill in my son, every morning you get up, make sure you log up. Every time you get up in the morning, we need to log in to make sure they assign you something. Because at first they wasn't assigning him things like they should have been. Mm-hmm. But eventually they got on board and, figured it out.
I have a couple more questions coming in off the chat line. Cassetta wants to know, you mentioned social workers are available to assist. Are there also guidance counselors or other professionals available to step in for potential mental health issues?
Yes. And they also have a 1-800 number, I believe, through the district as well. Sure. For the parents and the students that are, tired of being at home.
Sure. And
so yes, we do have counselors. We have 3 of them actually at our school.
So they're available to help the students and the parents or guardians.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and if
good.
they can't, they can assist them. Give them assistance somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. And Gina says that if parents take all the information that is given to them by the schools, test scores, learning types that may have been given when the children were in elementary school, all of that information is available for them. And if they take that information and use it while they're working with their students, it would be a beautiful thing. It's not any different than what a teacher has to do. Parents are the first teachers, and they should know better than anyone how their child learns.
I agree.
That's true. And I guess in essence what Gina's saying, if folks are paying attention, then they should be able to sort of figure some of these things out. Particularly if the child is struggling in one subject, or they seem to be bored, or kind of knowing how to navigate those waters. So that's very profound there. And how long does it take the teachers to prepare these virtual lesson plans? Because I know you guys were kind of thrust into that. So how did that process work?
It took a minute for a couple of our teachers to figure out the Google Classroom. So that was probably one of the reasons why my son wasn't getting any information from the school at first. So I had reached out to the principal, and the principal was emailing me personally work for him to do until the teachers got up and running. And I know for a fact the ones at our school, they helped each other, they talked each other through it, and yeah, it worked out great.
And I have another question about stress. A lot of stress that the parents may be having is the fear of the unknown and what's tomorrow going to bring. It just, in your opinion, will the school environment ever be the same now that we're in this COVID pandemic mode, and they're anticipating that we may go through COVID again in the fall as the flu season starts to really pick up and rear its ugly head?
No, I don't think the school system will ever be the same. I don't really believe that the world will ever be the same until this COVID is under control. If we don't get this under control, nothing's going to be the same again.
Right. And I guess just in your opinion, because I know they're still working through all the various issues and so forth, but do you see your school system starting back in August, in the normal fashion? Because I guess the question that all of us have in our mind, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, is when you're talking about a lot of 8th graders and 9th graders with the energy that they have, how do you anticipate getting them to adhere to social distancing on the bus, in the cafeteria, in the hallway, in the gymnasium, and all the other things that children normally do in a school environment?
In my opinion, it's going to be hard. A bus only holds 55, 60 kids at the most, 6 feet apart. It's going to be hard. We can't even get to school to even start social distancing.
Sure.
So yeah, that's a hard question.
And is it, and you've been in the system for a while, is it even possible to have a social distancing situation in a school where the teachers are already challenged with classroom sizes and all these other things? Is social distancing even possible under the same conditions that you had prior to COVID? Well, the acknowledgement of COVID. I know these viruses have been around for a while.
Yeah, it's hard because if we're practicing 6 feet, you have 45 students in one class that's already overcrowded. I don't see how it's going to work.
And are the powers that be asking the opinion of the folks like yourselves who are right there where the rubber meets the road? How do we make this work? Or do you sort of anticipate just getting some directive saying this is how it's going to work?
It's probably going to be a directive of this is how it's going to look.
Wow.
They probably won't ask for input from too many people, but they're probably working on it right now, which I hope they're working on it right now.
Wow. And one of the other questions that I got, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Thinbad, is what should we learn from this whole COVID situation as it's impacted education? And are we behind the curve in the schools, just in terms of preparedness? And this goes not only for the educators, but for the parents as well. Have we sort of reached one of those plateaus where we're just in a total gray area? We're totally unprepared. We don't necessarily know how we're going to get to the next level, because this thing, as Dr. Albright said last week, has not only has it taken a different form, but now it's even impacting children in another way, that the doctors are saying that it's, shutting down some of their vital organs and so forth. So This thing ain't playing, to excuse the grammar. And that question comes from Phil.
Gosh, where do I want to start with that? Sorry.
No, take your time.
Take your time. We don't know.
No, it's not playing. And do I feel like Las Vegas wasn't ready for this? Mm-hmm. We wasn't. Mm-hmm. We really don't have a plan. We didn't have a plan in place. Mm-hmm. Let's start there.
Sure.
But when it did happen, we turned it around. Let's say that. Okay. We wasn't ready for it. Mm-hmm. Because we don't have a national disaster here. Our weather is always great.
Sure.
We're not having floods here. So our kids pretty much go to school 180 days out of the year with no problem.
Sure.
If we ever foresee anything like this happening to the world, not to just Vegas, it happened to everyone. Mm-hmm. No, we wasn't ready for it. Mm-hmm. But excuse the grammar.
No,
we got ready.
Right.
We got ready and we made it work for the kids. We passed out thousands of Chromebooks. We went to houses. We went to schools. They came pick them up. We are turning it around to make it work for Las Vegas.
Well, that's good. It sounds like it's what folks are doing all over, or trying to do all over, because it's, Vegas wasn't by themselves. You're right. Nobody was ready for this. Nobody was expecting it. And the other, what we're finding out now, what the chief was alluding to, is that, there's stuff that's going to happen, or there's fallout from this thing that we have yet to uncover. It seems like every week or week and a half, there's something different that comes out. First, when it came out, it only bothered elderly people. And then, you shouldn't wear, you don't have to wear a mask. It's not going to help. Then it's like, everybody got to wear a mask. And now it's bothering kids. And just this week, they were talking about there's some other thing that, could be attached to COVID that would cause kids to, make you really, alarmed about what could happen to your kids. And are people going to feel comfortable going back? The whole, how you even sanitize the buildings, anymore now. This is, with school districts struggling for money all the time, with, teachers who were underpaid before all this happened, now having to deal with, stepped up anyway and handled their business. And, it's just going to be such a dent economically, but, it'll be interesting. I'm at a loss because I don't know what, how things are going to turn out. But, as they say, you got to have some faith somewhere. So this is, these are the times, this is what faith was made for. Times like these where it looks hopeless. You're like, what are we going to do? So I think one of the things you do is you just get in there and you do it. And the folks like you and your colleagues and peers across the country have stepped up and have done a magnificent job of making, sure enough, lemonade out of all these lemons that we got with this COVID thing. So we thank you. Chief is still reading. He's still reading stuff. Chief, you guys, any more pressing questions or comments out there?
No, I'm still looking, but
okay. All right, that's all right.
This definitely